the vision, the who am I, how do I want to do it, and what really matters, that's what I stick to. And then everything else aligns to make that happen. And when you do that, it's amazing how much of your energy it frees up to be able to say, okay, these things don't matter. And they're not going to get me where I want to go, so I'm just going to throw them away. I'm going to quit worrying about them. And these things, they're the things I really care about, and that's where I'm going to put my energy. And I only have to succeed in a few of those. I don't have to succeed in them all. But what little tests can I do to decide which of them are going to take me where I want to go? And that, I think, it's the key. It's how do I make a little test and a few small decisions before I put all my time and energy behind it. Because I see so many companies that just throw themselves at everything, and all they do is make their people tired. And they've spread themselves so far over so many things that none of them move fast enough to really succeed. And that's where companies get locked up.
So what happens? You mentioned those three things. What happens when companies successfully, what are the outcomes when companies successfully integrate those?
Well, when they do that, they get very clear on who they are. They get very clear on what they care about. They get very clear on what isn't important to them. And when they do that, then they can open up the potential of their people and their customers. They're much more willing to listen to what their customers want. I mean, I recently was working with a CEO who we suggested to him that he had this software that was really complex and very hard to understand. And we said, we should probably do some user testing so that we could figure out, because our sense is that the users, most of this stuff doesn't make sense to them, and what really matters to them is not here. And he said, no. I know what my users need, and I know what's important. And I guarantee you he didn't. And when we finally convinced him to do user testing, the insights that they got were so valuable. But that comes from really trying to understand, okay, what's really important here? And being able to let your ego aside, put aside your ego and say, there might be some people out there that actually know more than I do. Wouldn't that be strange if the people who use my product or service have an idea about what they'd like to see in it? And that is one of the biggest things I think CEOs don't do, is they get so caught up in their own ego and in their own vision that they forget that other people are involved, and that it's not about feeding their ego. It's about delivering a product or service or a set of products and services that somebody really wants and that they care about.